Yo dudes, what's up? This is PlanetKeef, I'm Keith, and today I'm going to be doing a product review of another thing from those lovely people at Neewer. They've sent me a 16-inch LED ring light with Bluetooth control. Full disclosure, they sent me this to review. No money has changed hands. My review will be completely fair and impartial. Oh yes. So, here it is. Right. I've had this open before to just check everything. So, that is the stand for the light. This is all the cables and bits and bobs. This is a bit of junk. And that's the actual ring light in that lovely carrying case that you could use to carry a very large laptop in if you wanted to. No, seriously, that's very impressive. As is this. First thing that struck me was just the sheer quality of the build and the design, the manufacture. It's very slick. I've seen ring lights previously that have been, you know, not slick at all, kind of cobbled together and with detachable white or orange filters and things like that, which, you know, frankly don't look great. But anyway, this is nice. So let's look at the stand. Okay, standard three-legged arrangement. It's not going to fit on here, obviously. It has a little protective cap on the threaded end, so you need to remove that or it ain't going to work. Here's a little thing I like. the sections are spring-loaded. I don't know why, but it makes me happy. So that goes all the way up to there, should you need it to. So we'll just fit the light on. That just sits over there and screws tight. Now let's look at the mystery box of bits and bobs. Okay, instruction manual. You will actually need to look at that. Power adapter. That plugs into the light itself. And mains cable and plug, which will be different according to what part of the world you're in. Also, a little ball head fixture, and that's quite chunky. That's a metal core to it, and it's a cold shoe. Just slides into the bracket on there, and you can fix a camera direct onto that thread, or you can fix this smartphone holder and your phone will go on there. Also, we've got a little red thing. It's a remote shutter which has two buttons, one for camera or iOS, one for Android. Right, it has a switch on the cable, so we'll press that and nothing happens. Oh, it's on. Ooh, on light, on indicator came on. Can you see that blue ring around it, behind it? But I won't be using it that way around, so that's not an issue really. Right, let's see if I can do anything with this without blinding myself. Turn it down first of all. Okay, that's on 3. That's more sensible. So one thing to note, this has 240 LEDs, half of which are cool daylight and the other half are warm. So that's colour temperature between 3200 and 5600 Kelvin. And I normally just use daylight. When I'm shooting in here, my kitchen is warm enough in colour. But yeah, but you can change it. This mode switch or mode button. These are all just touch switches, they're not actual physical buttons. So temperature's on 3600 now, so I'll just change it to 5600, and you can see that's quite a pronounced change. And then if I press the mode button again, we can change the brightness. So I'm going to avert my eyes. Okay, back down. Right, so I'm going to fit my phone on it, and first of all, and then we can see what we can do with the Bluetooth thing. Okay, that seems quite firm, and so I fixed it firmly, but it's facing the wrong way, so there we go. Right, there's a screw on the back here to tighten up. There we go. This is a Sony Xperia XA2. I don't know, it's a fairly standard sized phone, so. Okay, it's got a little switch on the side. Tell you what, I'll have a look at the manual. Okay, you have to download an app and sign up for an account with Neewer. So inside the manual there are two QR codes, one for Android, one for iOS, and I found that I couldn't get the Android one while the iOS was visible, so I had to mask that with a bit of paper. I've also put my password in the manual, so I'm masking that. And once you got the app, my devices, it's actually shown there, Neewer SRP something. Yay! Oh, magic! Right, we're on. Basically, you've got three things you can control. This can actually control up to 8 ring lights, so your selection for that is at the top. Obviously, I've only got one, so I won't go into that at all. And then we've got the brightness and the colour, temperature, and that's pretty neat, actually. Woo. Okay, now the problem is that should be in there if I'm using the phone as a camera, and I've just worked out that ghostly blue ring is some kind of lens flare. Okay, so now I'm going to try and get the little red shutter release remote thing to work. Apparently I have to find the device on the phone. Okay, well it's showing the Neewer SRP16, but we're supposed to find AB SUT R3. There we go, AB shutter 3. Pairing. Connected. Okay, so let's go back to the camera app and press the button. It's just zooming into the image. That's useful. Not. I'll take a picture. Okay, that's a wee problem, so I'll send off an email to Neewer, see if they've got a solution. It is not the end of the world for me, because I would never use that anyway, because I'm going to use my main camera with this, and my main camera is remotely controlled by this. So I need to take this off the tripod there and screw in this ball head. Yeah, I think I might be a bit disappointed that there's only this cold shoe mount available on this. Right, so here I am in the dark, and let's see if I can get the light on. Yay! That's on 50% brightness and 50% mix between warm and cold. I think that must be the default setting, so I think maybe it's too bright. That's on 13 out of 100. Well, let's just see what effect the colour temperature has. So that's on full warm 3200 and fully cool 5600. The other thing I was worried about is casting shadows. So I'll just move around a bit and see if we get any shadows on the wall behind me. Let's make it brighter. Because there is a fabric diffuser that can go over the ring, which you buy separately, but haven't got that, so I don't know. I don't know if I'll need it. You know, if I need it, I'll buy one. But we'll come back to this tomorrow when I've had a look at the footage and I can see what effect this light actually has. So this issue of the little red button, the Bluetooth shutter release, was entirely my fault. In the Android camera app you have the option to set the side volume button to operate as volume or as zoom or as shutter release. So that's all it was. Yay! That's pretty cool, actually. Now, I did mention earlier that I was a little worried about this little ball head when I'm using my main camera, which is well, it's mirrorless, but you know, similar to a DSLR. Because it's heavy, and you know, this is, well, I mean, I have been using this. It does scare me that it might lose its grip, as it were. So I'm going to see if I can fix this big ball head on. So that's got 3/8 thread, so I'll need an adapter. And then the bottom part of the cold shoe is on there, tightly fixed, so I can just screw in the replacement ball head. That's nice and tight. And then pop the camera on it. I've got all these cables. One is the microphone, one is the mains. So there we go. That fits quite snugly in there, and that is moderately solid. I'm more confident in that than the other thing. So a couple more things to show you to do with the adjustment of the ring on the stand. You can swivel it horizontally, and you can change the vertical angle using this big round knob, and that's holding pretty firm. And then independently of that, if you've got your camera on a ball head, you can then change the angle of that. And a good reason for doing that is if you don't want little rings reflected in your eyes. It's not the end of the world, but it's not what people are used to, and I think it might unsettle a few folk. It would be even better if it was star-shaped, wouldn't it? Anyway, if you adjust that away from shining directly on your face, then you can avoid that problem. So that's the Neewer 16-inch LED app-controlled ring light, and this sells on Amazon UK for £76, which I reckon is fabulous value for money. It's a real quality piece of kit. The light stand is stable, you have options for remote control. This is great for regular bloggers or beauty bloggers. You could even have one on your dressing table while you're putting your makeup on. I know I do. But also for general illumination, it's really good. And best of all for me is I've got the light and the camera on the same set of 3 tripod legs, and in this little cramped kitchen, reducing the number of legs on the floor is always great. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you sometime soon.